U.S. President Donald Trump says he's imposing tariffs on his European allies over their opposition to his bid to take over Greenland. 8 countries will face a 10% levy in 2 weeks. All right, we have Rory Challands standing by for us in Greenland's capital, Nuuk. But first, let's speak live to Mike Hanna, who's standing by in Washington, D.C. Mike, we first heard just around 24 hours ago, I believe, that Donald Trump planned to impose tariffs on certain countries who objected to his plans for Greenland. Now we're getting more details. What else have you learned?
Well, indeed, yes. The president has just posted a message on his social media naming the countries against whom he is going to impose tariffs. They are Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, Great Britain, Netherlands and Finland. Now, these are all allies of the United States. President Trump says he's going to impose 10% tariffs on February the 1st, and these will rise to 25% on June the 1st and will continue to rise until these countries agree to the U.S. taking control or buying Greenland. It's an unprecedented situation. The action against the U.S.'s traditional and long-standing allies. In his social media, President Trump blows this very large indeed. He says the national security of the United States and the world at large is at stake. This is a very dangerous situation for the safety, security and survival of our planet, all those S words with a capital letter. So President Trump clearly taking this very seriously, imposing tariffs against the U.S.'s oldest and closest allies. This is an unprecedented step for a U.S. president to take against its allies and NATO partners.
All right, Mike, we'll leave it there for now. That's Al Jazeera's Mike Hanna live for us in Washington, D.C. with all the latest. Thanks so much. Let's cross now back to Rory Challands, who's in Greenland's capital, Nuuk. Rory, it was just in the last couple of hours I saw you walking along with demonstrators who were opposed to Donald Trump's plans for Greenland. Are you hearing any reaction thus far to what Trump has now threatened?
Well, the demonstrators have all gone home, but they will be receiving this news when they get back to their flats, their houses, their places of work, wherever they have gone off to. And this will be very worrying news indeed. If there is any silver lining to this thunderous-looking cloud, and it's a very faint silver lining indeed, it's that Donald Trump doesn't seem to be using any kind of threats of military force at the moment. He's talking about a complete and total purchase of Greenland. But that, I think, matters little at the moment, considering how extraordinary this development is. What seems to be particularly crazy about this and these topsy-turvy times is that Donald Trump seems to have become angry at NATO countries sending NATO military personnel to another NATO country, of which the United States is, of course, a member too of that defence organisation. This is an entirely sort of internal NATO spat, and that's what's going to be most worrying for European countries and Denmark particularly, and Greenland as well. Greenlanders have been very unnerved by all of the attention that Donald Trump has been putting on this vast country with its tiny population. They know that there is nothing that they could do if Donald Trump really did want to send in the troops. Denmark knows there is nothing really that they could do if Donald Trump really wants to send in the troops. What they have been trying to do over the last weeks is to reassure him that they can take Arctic security seriously. He has repeatedly criticised Denmark for only having 2 dog sleds in the Arctic in Greenland, recently bolstered, as he said, by 1 more dog sled. Now, I mean, that isn't true. There is much more capability within Denmark's military forces up here, and in recent days that has been bolstered still by European countries sending in plane loads, handfuls, admittedly, but still military personnel who have been taking part in Operation Arctic Endurance and trying to show Donald Trump that Arctic security is on their priority list as well. But clearly it has not worked, and clearly Donald Trump is up in the ante in a serious way.
All right, that's Al Jazeera's Rory Challands live for us from Greenland's capital, Nuuk. Rory, thanks so much for unpacking all that for us.